Hello all, my name is Dana Lee Melfi, named Peaceman by the people. I am coming on here today to talk about one thing, something that every Canadian should deem important. That is, on August 13th, 2021, Justin Trudeau announced two very harsh measures and mandates federally, one concerning federal employees and one concerning travel within Canada. On that day, I watched a lot of news and I looked at many publications. One thing I did not see was not even one question on the legal validity, the legal path that was taken to substantiate these mandates. So I went, as a Canadian citizen that has been questioning our government on many things over the years, I went and did an ATIP request under the ATIP ACT, which is our access to information and privacy. I did this on, I do believe it was September 21st, because, and don't quote me on that date right now, you'll see it come up over here later, okay? So, it probably is coming up now. Anyways, I did this ATIP Act request because of the seriousness that was about to happen in Canada. And, they have to answer in a timely manner and stuff like this. And there's several things in the Act that they must do. In the Act, it speaks of fairness. So, after, I do believe it was 8 rounds of clarification on my original request, it was finally put into action. And it wasn't long after that I received a response that there would be a 1,875-day extension put on my request. That's right, 5 years. 5 years before we get to know if it was legal or not. And here's what happened. So, when I did my request, there is a specific form that you do online. And it has drop-down menus and stuff like that. They ask where you want the documentation to be focused on. And I chose the DOJ. I chose our highest legal system for our government to obtain those documents from. So I go through all of these steps and clarifications, and one day I receive an email that says, it's going to be up here, it says that I have a couple hours to respond or they're going to slap an extension on my request. Well, I live in a remote location and my internet was not working at the time. And when I seen it, it was just before the 2 hours was up. But it was before. Before the 2 hours was up, I received an email from that same worker in our government that says there's an extension already placed. I disagreed with what they gave me options, two options. One to place an extension, one to put it on a hold. There's very different information on that. An extension means you're not going to get the information until that date, 5 years. A hold means that you can still get information while it is being processed. So today I had a very interesting conversation because when the extension was placed and was in action, I placed a complaint because I spoke to the director at the DOJ. They insisted on phone calls instead of honoring my request several times in writing that we, it's up here, that we do everything in writing. But they still wanted to call. I do believe they asked me 5 times to phone call. So you can't, I didn't record those calls, but I recorded a call today. And I believe that the Canadian people need to hear this call. This is in the interest of being transparent about what I do and about what I stand for Canadians. You see, questions have not been able to be asked that are very, very important questions. And just because people don't have gilded letters or numbers in front of their names doesn't mean they don't have the intelligence as a citizen to follow the processes. So I'm going to put up the original release from Justin Trudeau, and you will notice that he does 2 things in this release. He announces 2 federal mandates and an apology for being outright disrespectful 3 days before he calls an election so that nobody can question him on any of that. The news is now absorbed with an election. You know, not all of us can be fooled, Justin. I'm going to leave it here, let you watch this, and see what you think. And I don't know, should I sit here while it plays? I don't know. Well, it's over here, right? Yeah. I'm not good at this thing. I don't do this very often. So let's watch it.
We also know that some parts of Canada are today facing a very difficult 4th wave of the virus. And there are sectors of the economy that continue to struggle. These responsible, practical, and tough actions we are announcing today will protect Canadians, prevent our healthcare systems from being overwhelmed, allow our children to continue to go to school, accelerate our economic recovery, and give businesses, including those in the hardest hit sectors, confidence that our strong economy is less vulnerable to COVID-19 related further lockdowns. Merci beaucoup. Pass it over to the Prime Minister to talk about other measures that we're announcing today. Prime Minister.
Thank you, Christia. Comme Christia l'a dit, on a fait beaucoup de chemin. Christia has outlined what the mandatory vaccination that's in place immediately for federal employees will look like. The bottom line, proof of vaccination will be required by no later than the end of this month for all federal employees. And by mid-November, enforcement measures in place will make sure that everyone is vaccinated. This is about keeping people safe on the job and in their communities. And the same goes for the second commitment we made, mandatory vaccination on travel. By the end of October, everyone 12 or older on a plane or train within Canada should be fully vaccinated. There will be a short period where people who are in the process of getting vaccinated can show a negative COVID-19 test, but by the end of November, if you're 12 or older and want to fly or take the train, you'll have to be fully vaccinated, as will staff. Testing will no longer be an option before boarding. If you've done the right thing and gotten vaccinated, you deserve the freedom to be safe from COVID-19, to have your kids safe from COVID, to get back to the things you love. And if you haven't gotten your shots yet but want to travel this winter, let's be clear. There will only be a few extremely narrow exceptions, like a valid medical condition. For the vast majority of people, the rules are very simple. To travel, you've got to be vaccinated. These travel measures, along with mandatory vaccination for federal employees, are some of the strongest in the world. Because when it comes to keeping you and your family safe, when it comes to avoiding lockdowns for everyone, this is no time for half measures. Already, we're delivering on the first of our vaccine commitments, and in the weeks to come, we'll get the job done on a vaccine passport for international travel. We'll be there to foot the bill for provinces and territories that roll out proof of vaccination programs, and we'll introduce legislation to make it a criminal offense to threaten or harass healthcare workers. Je suis très enthousiaste à l'idée de tout ce qu'on peut. Before I take questions from the media, I want to address the issue of last week. Traveling on September 30th was a mistake, and I regret it. The first National Day of Truth and Reconciliation was a time for Indigenous people and non-Indigenous people alike to reflect and connect, think about the past, but also focus on the future. I want to thank Chief Casimir of the Kamloops for the conversation we had over the weekend, in which I apologized for not being there with her and her community for this important day. And I committed to going to visit the Te Kamloops Te Swetmuk community in the coming weeks. There's a lot of work for us all to do, and I'm committed to doing it. Merci.
So what did you think of that? You know, if you go to the CPAC site and watch that and listen to all the questions from the reporters and things like that, you'll see that the questions I have posed have not been asked. So, you know, we'll go on and keep asking. And they say it's going to take months to get to my delayed complaint. So here is the recording of what's her name? I don't have it. Here's a recording of the complaint department for ATIP. And the layers that they put onto this is against the act. So again, they're breaking the act. First, they didn't use fairness, and that's why the repeal happened, which I don't think it should be called a repeal, because it wasn't repealed. Okay? It was done against the act. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you guys are grasping the magnitude of this request. I was told in writing by the DOJ nobody had asked this type of question. And they're pretty happy. No lawyers, no doctors, nobody has asked this type of question to follow the legal validity and path of instituting the first two federal mandates. Okay. And this government does not want to answer to that ATIP request and are adding layers and I have it all documented to my request, which is against the act.
Okay. So,
So
that's
what are you going to do?
say right now?
Is my file now, because in your mail it says that we've determined I've not provided sufficient information to register my complaint. So my complaint's not even registered because you couldn't find the tracking of the emails. You couldn't find any of this information on your own.
No, that's not why. We want to make sure of the nature of the complaint, and I shouldn't have asked you for the time extension notice. I should have asked you just for the nature of your complaint. Now, you have not received a response. Is that correct?
I have not received a response from them.
Not received a response, and the processing of the request has gone awry, basically.
Absolutely.
So what we have done now, what we have done is we've registered a delay complaint, which will guarantee you a response to your request. And within the delay complaint, they look at how they're processing the request. So any of the issues that you brought forward during our phone call right now, you can bring forward to the investigator, and they will look into those issues.
Well, I have spent a lot of time already writing this out, and this is why there is a tracking number for this, exactly for this.
Yeah.
So I don't need to explain. I don't need to explain because I've written it out very, very straightforward.
Yeah. So everything that you've sent into our office about the first complaint that we dealt with, and we closed it as invalid because there was no.
Excuse me,
because the file was on hold, right?
You closed. No. When I filed my complaint, the extension was in was in action. Okay, so you closed it when because after you received my complaint, it went to a hold. You should not have closed my complaint because you should have been investigating the actions at the time. Do you understand what I mean?
Well, yeah, I understand what you mean.
Okay.
That's not the action.
And I did it within 60 days. I provided you with the extension anyways on your site, but I was not able to provide the repealed letter.
Which we now have.
Yeah. Why didn't they give it to you? Did you not talk to them before you closed my stuff? No. Obviously you didn't talk to them, or you did, and I might have to ATIP request that communication. Because if there is none, then you've closed my complaint during an active investigation into laws being broken within the Act. Correct?
So I sent you an email in February, on February 1st, okay? Saying that
February 1st, let me get that email. Let me look for your name here. Carol.
Okay, so, yeah, the 1st of February, 2022. So I'm following up with your emails of December 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, and January 5th. So I indicated what our mandate is, and then on the 22nd, the institution retracted time extension notice. Therefore, there are no grounds to investigate a time extension this time. Did you find me?
No. You see, that's where your fallacy. That's where your fallacy is. I submitted my complaint while the extension was active. So you waited until they removed and repealed the extension, and then you closed my complaint. My complaint was made while it was active. Okay? Do you understand the problem here? Yeah, I think you're starting to see it. You see, the games that are being played here and the very poor professionalism is really starting to show. Because there are certain terms in our act with complaints that need to be investigated when the active, in the active situation, I do believe is the word. So you've just told me that you closed my complaint because the extension was removed. But I made my complaint while the extension was active. And you feel that because it was removed that the complaint is invalid. Your own words.
Yeah, it is.
No, wait. You are definitely saying that my complaint was invalid. It is.
Well, it was invalid as in there's nothing to investigate.
Well, yes. What I'm asking you to investigate is how it got into an extension in the first place with only 2 hours notice, which was a contravention of the act. And that is why they had to repeal it. And they know it, but they didn't say it. And I hinted to it many times. You're just avoiding saying that you broke the act. Everybody, and even you yourself saying it is invalid, is saying that what I'm saying is invalid. My complaint for placing the extension was invalid, and it was not invalid, obviously, because because it was repealed. So it wasn't invalid. Why did it get placed in the first place in that manner is because they broke the act. And you're not willing to say that, but that's the truth.
Well, that's what we're going to look at while we do the delay.
Well, no, you said that my complaint is invalid, but now you're saying you're going to look at it.
Listen, that's what I said during the delay complaint. After you've sent me that most recent.
Why is it a delayed complaint?
Why is it a delay complaint?
Yeah.
Because they're past their due date.
No, I made my complaint within the due date. I made my complaint one day after I received the extension.
Okay, so that is fine.
So you've turned it from a complaint into a delayed complaint because you found that my complaint was invalid during that time.
No, Mr. Melfi, there are two complaints that you've made. The first one we closed because there was no delay, there was no extension, official extension taken because the institution withdrew it. So we can't investigate extension that does not exist.
Wait, why did it get put on? Why my complaint was asking why it got put on in the first place by breaking the act, and you find that is invalid.
Okay. Yes, so that's the first.
But they broke the act, correct? That's why it got repealed?
I don't know because we haven't investigated that. I can't say that because
after all this time. After all this time, almost 1 year since my complaint, and you haven't investigated that and closed my complaint.
Okay. The first complaint is closed because you complained about the time extension.
Well, I disagree with that and
withdrawn. Okay, you can disagree all you like.
No, I wish to what's the word? I wish to challenge that. How do I challenge that decision of closing my complaint during an active investigation?
You can't.
Oh, I can't. There's no process. Just like there was no process to remove an extension, but you're telling me outright that there's no process.
There's nothing in the act that says that a
What about your
institutional
procedures?
planner cannot.
If you've made a mistake
Okay.
and you closed my complaint, in your procedures, does it not say that you need to make reparations for that?
No.
Okay, I'll look that up.
So, listen, in the first complaint, we closed it.
Why?
Okay, you know that we closed it because there was no time extension taken.
There was a time extension
And then
taken
we
during
drew
that
it.
complaint.
So therefore, there's none. Okay?
During the complaint, you must agree that during my
Listen,
complaint, there was a time extension
I'm not
in
going to talk about that
action.
complaint anymore. I'm not talking about that complaint anymore. I'm sorry. That complaint is closed and it's done. Okay? Now, we've opened the delay complaint, and what I'm saying to you is we're going to look into processing of the request, how they process the request.
And so that does include the actions of the employees that were involved?
Well, we don't fault employees for things. Like, I mean, they're not going to go to court and lose their jobs or anything like that.
No. Wait a second. They have a job to do. It's very important. And if they make a mistake or if they do things that are against the law, like against the act, then you're telling me that there is nothing anybody can do to an employee. Well, I'll tell you, I'm a government employee. And I've had things used against me because I stood up to them. I'm a whistleblower.
Okay.
Okay? I've worked for the government for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And you're telling me that I'm sorry, there's nothing you can do to an employee that does wrong, that breaks the law.
Listen, well, if you look at the act, there is no...
I already pointed out the law that they broke in the act. It's all in the documents. Okay? So yes, I have looked at the law. I have looked at the act. And fairness is a big part of the act. And that's what they broke. They broke that fairness law, and they have also admitted to it because they repealed it. There would be no way they repealed it if they didn't realize that they broke the act in the first place.
Okay. So why
correct?
do you think that... Okay.
Why did they repeal it? Tell me.
I don't know. I'm not the investigator. I have not looked into that issue.
So how many months is it going to take for an investigator to call me now?
I don't know. It could be a couple of months. Could be sooner. I don't know.
As this very, very important issue in Canada is added another layer to my ATIP request because I'm not going to get a response from them. I'm not going to get a call from an investigator, and this has already been going on 11 months. 11 months since my initial complaint or my initial ATIP request. Okay. Yeah. So, and then my complaint was made in December. I do believe it was December 22nd. Yes. So, we're coming up to almost a year. Now you're saying that it might be a couple months before an investigator contacts me.
Yeah.
Well, what's he going to do during that couple months? Is he going to collect my evidence? Because he needs to contact me to do that.
Okay, Mr. Murphy, the process for an investigation, first, once we receive and validate the complaint, the institution is notified, and you're given also a notification that we register the complaint. We presume you've already received that.
I responded to every one of your emails, did I not?
Okay. So
did I respond to every one of your emails?
Sir, yes, you did.
Thank you.
You did. I got everything. Everything's on the file. So.
And we're still delayed 11 months.
Sir, let me just explain our process for this new delay complaint that we're going to investigate, okay?
Please do.
So once the institution has received the notice, they are to send us documents relating to processing the request. So it's anything that they've done, everything that's on the file, basically. Okay? So once we receive that, we prep them in the file. So it's all electronic. So we prep them in the file, and then it's put in a queue for assignment to an investigator. And until the investigator takes a look at the file, he's going to look at all the files, the two files basically, because I put them in a related, I put both of them related to each other, okay, the first and the second, so because there's pertinent information on both. And once that is done, the investigator will give you a call. Now, currently, we have an increase of 75% more complaints this year than we did last year.
Here it comes.
So there is, pardon?
Here it comes. Yeah.
So it might take a while. Really, complaints don't usually take too long to assign. So that's
yeah, well, you canceled my first complaint, which was totally valid and in action.
It was not valid, sir. It was not valid.
Why was an extension removed then?
I don't know.
Exactly. You don't know, but you deemed you personally deemed my complaint invalid.
No, I did not personally deem it.
Isn't that what your email here? Then who did? Who made my complaint invalid?
My managers. I refer to my managers because we've got processes.
I would like the names of those managers in an email. You can actually send me an email on our conversation. Please.
What would you like me to say in the email?
I'd like you to acknowledge that my first complaint was the extension was in action, and I would like to know which managers deemed my complaint invalid.
That first complaint.
My first complaint. I'd like to know who deemed it invalid and on what grounds the extension was in action. I purposely made my complaint before the repeal because I knew.
So the extension notice was the 1st of December, right?
Yeah.
No, sorry.
No, I don't know. I don't have it. I don't have the dates in front of me.
I've got the two attachments that you sent me recently. So that's the original extension, and the other one was the repeal, which was 20th of December. Okay? So
there was no repeal yet.
And what it says in the letter here, this letter formally confirms the retraction of the extension letter issued to you on December 1st, 2021. The file has been placed on hold as of December 1st to allow for clarification of scope. Accordingly, the notice of extension letter is formally retracted and no extension date currently exists for your file. Okay? So that's what they said. You confirmed December 15th.
And did I ask them, in my email when I responded, did I ask them why it was retracted? And they refused to answer?
I don't have that email. So that'll come out when you make a...
Yeah. Well, you see, you're missing a lot of things. You're missing a lot of things.
But listen, the delay complaint, the time extension complaint was retracted on December 20th. Now, your complaint, the original complaint...
Yeah, you see, because you make me do it on a website instead of as an email, you see, I don't even have a copy of my original complaint because it had to be done on the website, and it didn't even have the right drop-down boxes or anything for making I was making multiple complaints. I'm making multiple complaints, and you're failing to realize it. You wanna scope it all into one thing, is how we followed the process. Well, there's following the process, but there's also the people that are trusted to follow that process, just as we trust our prime minister. And if they break the law, and they put on layers, and they refuse to answer, and they repeal something when there was no process. I have it written that they said there's no process to do that, but of course it happened a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
Okay, why did it happen? I never got an answer for that. So there's many layers to this, and for somebody to deem my original complaint and put it to the back of the file on a new what did you call it? It's on now. A delayed complaint? But it should, exactly. That's exactly what it is. A delayed complaint, because you guys found it invalid before you even investigated.
No, it's not a delayed complaint. The complaint was not delayed. We opened a delayed complaint because you have not received a response. A delayed deemed refusal is against the
So you're invalidating my original complaint that the act was broken and the law was broken. You're finding it invalid, okay. And I don't even know who finds it invalid. I have the right to know that. Who found my complaint invalid while the extension was in action? I'm not playing around here, you know. This is Canada and the world we're talking about here. You guys, you have a duty. And so do I as a citizen. So I respect that you've called me back. I respect that you now see the proper scope. And I will wait for a response from them, because you have now opened, initialized a complaint now, yes?
Yeah, based on the latest information that you sent us, yes. Delayed deemed refusal complaint.
I didn't send delayed complaint, but you guys want to call it a delayed complaint, that's fine.
Well, because of the information we have.
I think it's very important. I think it's very important, and I believe that your investigators should be calling me within 48 hours.
No.
Oh, yeah. That, I believe that. I believe that.
Sorry.
I'm allowed to believe what I'm allowed to believe. Okay? You can't just say no. Yeah, hang up on me. So you see, people, that is... Oh, wait, somebody's calling me back.
Sorry about that. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Sorry about that. I touched my earpiece and it hung up. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, well, anyways, I respect that you've worked hard here, and you're going to have them contact me. When is the DOJ director of ATIP, whatever her name is, when is she going to contact me?
I don't know. That's going to be part of the investigation. See, what happens is we send a notice to the institution. They send us documents related to processing your request. The file is put in a queue for assignment. Then the investigator reviews the file, takes actions that are appropriate related to the file. He's going to get a status, probably a status report the status on the request, where they're at, what they've processed, what they've done. And they're going to negotiate between you and the institution to get you a response. Now, I heard you mention that or I think I read in an email somewhere that you would be open to getting certain documents, like as a chunk, but not like a final response, because there's probably a lot of documents related to your request.
Yeah, well, what about my complaint that they totally misunderstood the original ATIP request by going and searching documents outside of the DOJ. You see, that's part of it too. That added 480,000 pages, I do believe was the last count that they gave me.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So that
that's
is why 1,875 days was added to an
yeah, I saw
extension.
that.
Okay,
It's
so
crazy.
that
Yeah.
1,875 days was based on false information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
So
not.
that's gonna be
I am not a
yeah.
fool.
Okay, I've never said that.
No, but they
Okay.
certainly have treated me that way, and I will
Okay.
not stand for it.
Okay. Sorry you feel that way. Now, so right now, they've received notice. We're waiting for them to get the documents to us so we can
Yes, and I
prep the
am
file
interested
and
in receiving documents as they come in because I have
okay.
to, obviously, it's going to be a good amount of documents with a lot of legal language, and I need to
Yeah.
have it checked out.
Okay. So, all right. So I'm going to put a note.
Because it needs
I'm
to
gonna
get out.
check.
It
I'm gonna
needs to
check.
get out to the
Yeah.
public whether these two mandates were even legally researched properly in the first place.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to put a note on the file about our
Like,
discussion.
what judge or lawyer authorized putting this out for the government? Because in our rights and freedoms, Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and our Constitution, our original, it says the government cannot discriminate. Okay? So within any program. The words are not being followed, ma'am. The processes that you're telling me have not been followed. I am just a simple Canadian trying to protect human life. And to not get these answers is disgusting to me. So I'll wait. So if I don't hear from them within a week, I'm going to get a call from you, please?
No.
Why?
No.
Okay, well, what do I do?
Listen,
What do I do? I sit here and I wait months?
you may
That's
have
all.
to.
That's all you're telling
You
me?
can contact them. You can contact them all you want. You can contact DOJ all you want. But right now, as it stands, the complaint is not ready to assign an investigator, and there's no point in pushing DOJ to do anything from our end. We are pushing them, but unless we have issues related to the process, there's nothing we're going to do between now and the file is assigned.
But your complaint process has been a shambles. I lodged my complaint while it was active. You closed the complaint. You put all these extra layers, all this extra stress on people, and it's been almost a year, and I have zero answers. Almost a year, and during the most important time of our lives right now. You know, it's just amazing to me. It's truly amazing. The non-answers that I'm getting, you know. So I don't know. I guess what you're telling me in this call is you may not hear from anybody for a couple months.
That might be true. That may be true.
Wow.
That may be true.
Wow.
Because we have
wow.
no control
When my
over
complaint was lodged almost a year ago and invalidated, then reassigned as a delayed complaint. This is just unbelievable.
What can I say?
Oh, I have a call coming in. Okay, well, you have a good day.
You too. Take care.
Okay, bye. Wow, eh? So what did you think of that? Let's do a... Oh, I can't do that. Okay. So, to do a real quick rundown, Justin makes his announcement on the 13th. I take notice of it because it wasn't an official announcement. He makes his announcement October 6th. I submit my ATIP request within that time, and it is now 11 months and I have 0 answers, a lot of layers added on, not being responded to by the ATIP request handlers at the DOJ. No answers from this complaint department. They invalidated my complaint while the extension was active for 1,875 days, 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. Wow. What can happen in 5 years, eh? If we don't have the answers, if we don't have the truth, what could happen? A lot has already happened. Your lives are changing because of all of this, because of the deception, because of the missing information. Not misinformation or disinformation, the missing information for your informed consent. You did not have informed consent because you were not informed. My mustache is being funky. There we go. We'll just fix it. There we go. Okay. Anyways, funky mustache day. This is a daunting task. I could get in trouble. I'm putting myself at risk. But I just want you to know. Anything happens to me, I don't care. Do your worst. Okay. Peace and love. And we need to start beating them in the paperwork. People need to start stepping up and asking questions. You know, I checked out how many ATIP requests there were last year. 1,700 in a country of 36 million at a time where there's so much missing information that it's hard to discern. So do your part, do your duty, and stand up for the world.